Amanda grew up in a small house with her parents and 4 younger siblings. Her father worked as a carpenter, and her mother sold vegetables in a small stall. Even though life was hard, Amanda always believed she would become a medical doctor. Femi, Amanda's boyfriend, had been with her since they were teenagers. He was not rich, but he was honest and hard-working. He ran a small electronics shop that barely made profit. Still, he supported Amanda in every way he could and encouraged her to study. One evening after Amanda finished her chores, Femi visited her house. They were seated outside when she told him she had gained admission into the university to study medicine, but her parents could not pay the school fees. Femi looked at her for a long moment. He knew how much this dream meant to her. He also knew that supporting her through medical school would not be easy since his business was unstable, and he barely had enough to take care of himself. But he loved Amanda deeply, and he wanted to see her succeed. After thinking carefully, Femi made a promise. He told her he would find a way to pay her fees and support her until she graduated. Amanda was surprised. She asked how he would manage it. Femi told her he would work harder, save more, and put all his effort into his business. Then he asked Amanda for one thing in return. When she finished school, he wanted them to get married. Amanda agreed immediately. She held his hands and thanked him. She promised she would never forget his kindness. Her parents were shocked when they heard Femi's plan, but they were grateful. They blessed him and thanked him for helping their daughter achieve what they could not afford. Over the next few weeks, Femi worked day and night. He took small loans to stock more items in his shop, and he spent less money on himself. He paid Amanda's first-year fees and bought everything she needed for school. Amanda was excited and full of hope. She told her friends that Femi believed in her more than anyone else. On the day she left for university, Femi helped her carry her bags to the bus park. He reminded her to stay focused on her studies and to remember the promise she made. Amanda hugged him and said she would make him proud. As the bus drove off, Femi watched quietly. He believed he had done the right thing, and he trusted that their future together would be bright. When Amanda started university, everything felt new and exciting. She quickly adjusted to her new life, attended her classes on time, and many lecturers liked her because she was intelligent. At first, Amanda called Femi every day. She told him about her classes, her new friends, and the challenges she faced. Femi listened with pride. Even when he was tired from work, he always made time for her. Every month, he sent money for her food, books, and he never complained. As months turned to years, Amanda's life began to change. She made friends from wealthy families. Some of them drove nice cars and lived in expensive hostels. Their lifestyle impressed her, and soon Amanda started comparing her life to theirs. Whenever Femi visited her, he came by public transport and wore simple clothes. At first, Amanda did not mind, but with time she began to feel embarrassed. She did not want her wealthy friends to know she had a boyfriend who struggled financially. She stopped introducing him to people and told him not to visit often because she was too busy. When Femi noticed the change in her behaviour, he asked if something was wrong. Amanda said she was fine and just stressed with schoolwork. Femi believed her. By her final year, Amanda had become a completely different person. She now spent more time with rich classmates and attended parties she once avoided. She dressed differently, spoke differently, and acted like someone from a higher social class. She rarely called Femi unless she needed money. When Femi called her, she often sounded distracted or annoyed. After graduation, Amanda returned home only for a short visit. Femi was excited to see her. He thought they would talk about their future and start preparing for marriage as they had promised years ago. But when Amanda arrived, her attitude was cold. She barely smiled. She spoke to Femi as if she was doing him a favour by talking to him. One afternoon, Femi finally asked her directly if she still wanted to marry him. Amanda looked at him for a long moment before answering. She told him that things had changed. She was now a doctor and deserved a better life with a man who matched her new level and could give her everything she wanted, but Femi was not that man. Her words hit him like a heavy blow. He reminded her of the promises she made and all the sacrifices he made for her. But Amanda simply shrugged. She said she was grateful, but gratitude was not enough reason to marry him. She told him to move on and stop expecting anything from her. A week later, Femi heard from others that Amanda was engaged to a wealthy man she met through her new social circle. He was shocked. She had not even told him herself. That night, Femi sat alone in his shop, feeling broken and deeply disappointed. He had given everything to support her. He had believed in her dreams. But now she treated him like he was nobody. For several days he struggled to eat, sleep, or even open his shop. He replayed their memories in his mind, trying to understand where he went wrong. The pain was heavy, and it felt like a part of him had been torn away. Friends and neighbours noticed the change in him. Some tried to comfort him, while others whispered behind his back. They talked about how he wasted his money on a woman who left him the moment she became successful. Femi felt embarrassed and avoided people because he did not want to hear their comments. After weeks of sadness, Femi realised he could not continue living like that. He had two choices: remain broken or stand up and rebuild himself. One morning, he opened his shop earlier than usual. He told himself that if Amanda could start a new life, he could also start fresh. Even though his heart was still hurting, he decided to focus all his energy on his business. At first, progress was slow. Femi worked long hours, sometimes from morning until late at night, and whenever sadness tried to return, he reminded himself that he deserved better. After about a year, his effort began to show results. He saved enough money and reinvested it into the business. Soon, his small shop expanded. He rented a bigger space and hired 2 apprentices to help him. One day, Femi met a businessman who needed a large supply of electronics for a new hotel project. They negotiated and reached an agreement. This deal was the biggest opportunity Femi had ever received, so he handled it with seriousness, and the businessman was impressed with his honesty and efficiency. That single contract opened many doors for him. Soon other companies heard about him and trusted him with large orders. Femi's business grew rapidly. He opened more branches in different towns and hired more workers. In a few years, he became one of the most respected businessmen in the region. He bought land, built houses, and invested in other businesses. His life changed completely. After Amanda got engaged to the wealthy man she chose over Femi, her life seemed perfect at first. Her fiancé, Ken, took her to expensive restaurants, bought her nice gifts, and introduced her to his rich friends. Amanda felt proud. She believed she had made the best decision by choosing someone who matched the lifestyle she wanted. However, things started to change after a few months. Ken became distant. He stopped calling and always gave excuses when Amanda wanted to see him. He claimed he was busy with work, but Amanda noticed he no longer treated her with the same attention he showed in the beginning. Still, she ignored the signs because she did not want to admit things were going wrong. One evening, Ken invited Amanda to his house, where he told her he was no longer interested in the relationship. He said he did not see a future with her anymore. Amanda was shocked. She asked him if she had done anything wrong, but he simply said he wanted to move on. Before she could speak further, he ended the conversation and asked her to leave. She walked out feeling overwhelmed with pain. She had rejected Femi with confidence, believing her new life was secure, but now everything had collapsed unexpectedly. After the breakup, Amanda tried to focus on her medical career, but getting a good job was harder than she expected. Hospitals demanded experience, and the competitive environment made things difficult for someone without strong connections. She applied to many places, but received only rejection letters. Some places offered positions, but the pay was very low. Her fiancé had supported her financially during their relationship. Now that he was gone, Amanda struggled to pay her bills. Her parents were also going through financial difficulties, so they could not help much. Amanda's savings ran out quickly. Soon she could no longer afford the lifestyle she had built around herself. Months later, Amanda was forced to take a job far below her qualification. She became a salesgirl in a small supermarket just to survive. The job was tiring, and the pay was barely enough to cover her transport and food. Her parents watched her struggle and felt sorry for her. They knew she had made a mistake by rejecting Femi. So one evening, Amanda's father suggested to Amanda that they visit Femi, and maybe he would forgive her and help her find a better job or guide her in some way. Amanda resisted at first. She felt ashamed and afraid. She knew how badly she had treated Femi, and the thought of facing him made her heart heavy. But her situation was getting worse, and she had no other option. After thinking for many days, she finally agreed to go with her parents to visit Femi. She was nervous throughout the journey and kept looking out of the car window, wondering how Femi would react when he saw her again. Her parents encouraged her to stay calm and accept whatever happened. When they reached Femi's house, Amanda became even more anxious. The house was large and beautiful, the compound was neat, and it was clear that the owner was doing very well in life. Amanda felt small, and she remembered the day she told Femi he was below the standard she believed she deserved. Now she stood outside a house that showed how far he had moved beyond anything she once imagined. Her father knocked on the door, and a house help opened it. She welcomed them politely and led them to the living room. Amanda sat with her hands shaking on her lap. A few minutes later, Femi walked into the living room and paused briefly when he saw Amanda. Then he greeted everyone calmly. He looked mature, confident, and peaceful. Meanwhile, Amanda was struggling to look him in the eyes. Amanda's mother started speaking. In simple, honest words, she explained everything. She talked about how Amanda's fiancé left the relationship, how her daughter could not find a stable job, and how she was now working as a sales girl. She explained that Amanda regretted her actions deeply and had learned a painful lesson. Amanda's father added that they came not to force anything, but to ask for forgiveness and understanding. Amanda kept her head down. She finally gathered courage and said, "Femi, I am sorry for everything. I treated you badly. I was wrong." Her voice cracked as she spoke. Femi listened without interrupting. When they finished, he told them that he had forgiven Amanda long ago. He explained that holding on to anger would only stop him from moving forward, so he had to make peace with the past and wished everyone well. Before Amanda could respond, a little boy ran into the living room. He went straight to Femi and hugged him. Behind him was a woman holding a baby. She introduced herself as Femi's wife. Amanda's heart sank. She looked at the happy family standing together. She realized that Femi's life was complete without her. Femi led his family back to another room, then returned to continue the discussion. He explained that even though he forgave Amanda, he could not go back to the past. He was happily married and he loved his wife and children. He wished Amanda strength and encouraged her to rebuild her life step by step. Amanda nodded with tears in her eyes. She accepted his words because she knew they were true. Her parents also understood. They thanked Femi for receiving them and for showing kindness instead of anger. As they left his house, Amanda knew this was the end of their story. She had lost something valuable because of her choices. From that day on, Amanda decided to rebuild her life. She accepted her mistakes and promised herself never to repeat them. Femi continued living happily with his family. He had no hate in his heart, only gratitude for how far life had brought him. Their paths separated completely, each carrying the results of their decisions.